T.S. Eliot, whose full name was Thomas Stairs Eliot, was a famous poet, playwright, and essayist. He was born on September 26 on 1888 in the United States, but he moved to England in 1914 and spent most of his life there. In 1927, he became a British citizen. Eliot is considered one of the most important writers of the 20th century. His work had a big influence in modern poetry, and he won the Nobel Prize in the Literature in 1948. Eliot wrote some of the most famous poems in the English language. One of his most well-known poems is The Wasteland, published in 1922. This poem talks about the confusion and sadness of the modern world after the World War I. Another important work is the love song of Alfred Prufrock, which one was his first major poems, published in 1915. These works made Eliot famous and respected in the literature.
Thomas Esther Eliot, a literary colossus of the modern era, presents us with a poetic landscape that continues to resonate today. His work, a labyrinth of cultural references, historical allusions, and a profound symbolism, invites us on a journey into the depths of the human condition. In Prufrock, for example, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, Eliot introduces to a character paralyzed by the indecision and haunted by the impossibility of love and meaningful connection. In the poem, it says, "Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient sterile upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless lights in one-night cheap hotels, and soundless restaurants with oyster shells, incidents that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent to lead you to an overwhelming question. And do you ask, what is this? Let us go and make a visit." Another of the most famous poems of T.S. Eliot is The Wasteland. It's considered one of the most influential poems of the 20th century. It is a complex allegory of a civilization in crisis. A brief exploration of the poem shows themes of spiritual desolation, fragmentation, and a search of meaning. I cannot read you all the poem, but I can read you this. In real city, under the brown fog of a winter noon, Mr. Eugenius, the Simra merchant, and shade with a pocket full of currants, CAF London documents at sight, asked me in demonic French to luncheon at the Cannon Street Hotel, followed by a weekend at the Metropole. Some of the other important works on the T.S. Eliot portfolio includes The Rock, The Cocktail Party, and The Family Reunion. All of them explore the complexities of the human experience using the power of the language.
His style is known for being difficult but interesting. He used several key techniques in his writing. The first one is modernism. Eliot was a part of the modernist movement in literature. It means he wanted to write in a new way that was different from older and traditional styles. His poems often shows how the world feels like broken or confusion, and he didn't always follow the typical structure of a poem. The second one is imaginary and symbols. Eliot's poetry uses a lot of imaginary or pictures in words to create strong emotions. He also used symbols, things that stand for deeper meanings. For example, in The Wasteland, he talks about dry, barren land to represent spiritual emptiness. The third one is references to another works. Eliot often includes references to another books, myths, and historical events in his poems. For example, he used ideas from Bible, Shakespeare, and ancient Greek myths. He gave poems many layers of meaning. And the third one is the dramatic monologues. Some of its poems, like the love song of Alfred Prufrock, are written as a dramatic monologues. This means the poem is like a speech given by a character, showing their personal thoughts and warriors. So that's why Eliot's poems can be complex